Hey Fish Fam, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master. I'm here with my brother, and we are preparing for Grand Prix Minneapolis. I'll be there, not you. Chubby Meatball's here, rubbing against cat food. But I am still preparing the Simic Merfolk. I think that this is the more powerful deck. I think this is the deck that has the best chance of beating the Hogak Menace. If you want to see my preparation for Grand Prix Minneapolis, which happened just last weekend, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Before we get into our deck tech, we're going to thank our sponsors, themanabase.com. And from Kitchen Tabletop to MTG Arena to Commander, the Mana Base is your home base for everything Magic the Gathering. And the Magic Mastermind. Get coaching by pros that go to the Mythic Championship, that make top 8 at Grand Prix, that are on top of the metagame right now. If you want to learn from some of Magic's best, don't forget to check out the Magic Mastermind. So, I've been jamming a lot of the Simic Merfolk, and unfortunately, it's like falling short a little bit. It is struggling a smidge against Burn, struggling a smidge against Phoenix. But sometimes it's just dirtling around. I definitely I'm not in as good of a position as I am against humans like I would like. Not to mention, I think I have a very good matchup against Hogak without Hedron Crab, but the Crab version I think is much more difficult. They put a lot more cards into the graveyard, so they dig for more Vengevines, and Vengevine is the true problem for this deck, because unless you're playing with Tidebinder Mage, I guess you have a little bit more of a chance, but we're usually spending our turns trying to deal with Hogak, which is fine, which is a much more clunky card, but Vengevines are not also free mana, but they attack for 4 damage immediately with haste. Much harder to deal with, in my opinion. But anyway, not super thrilled with the results. Getting a lot of 3-2s against good players, I might add. I think I'm getting 3-2s against really tough opponents. However, it's not where I want it to be. And Green Ranger from Green Ranger MTG, also a fellow YouTuber, he suggested, you know what? Why don't we just gut Silvergill Adept? Why don't we just take it out of the deck? And as you notice in my latest sideboard guide, I'm siding out Silvergill Adept very, very often against a ton of matchups, and the only exceptions are like Blue Eye Control, Mardu Pyromancer, and like Jund. But the majority of the matchups, I'm taking out Silvergill Adept. So why don't we take out Silvergill Adept and play more interactive creatures to deal with our opponents? Things like Harbinger of the Tides, and maybe Water Trap Weaver. Maybe Water Trap Weaver. Water Trap Weaver is a big favorite of mine of the past. I love Water Trap Weaver. It forces the tapping of things down. This is going to be effective against Eldrazi-tron. This is going to be effective against... You know what? I was up against a control deck and I just tapped the Snapcaster Mage and it was good enough. We tap down Snapcaster Mage, get in for a lot of damage with these 2/2 creatures, even these 2/2 creatures, and it adds up. It absolutely adds up. So Water Trap Weaver and Harbinger of the Tide, still going to be good against Izzet Phoenix. Hopefully still good against Hogak. So Harbinger of the Tides. Silvergill Adept is like...
That 2-1 is no fun.
Modern is not about going for the long game anymore. There is no long game. There just literally is no long game anymore. Everyone, thanks to the London Mulligan, is on a clear path to their victory, and you have to race and interact. It's not as much about attrition anymore. And you know what? Even against Jund, I play turn 2 Silvergill Adept, they play turn 2 Ren and 6, and they just kill it. So, in the end, they've got a Planeswalker. I got an extra card, but basically I just cycled it for 2 mana, and they've got a Planeswalker on the board. Not a favorable exchange at all, in my opinion. So, there's that. So Silvergill Adept, I was up against humans the other day, and I just got smashed because I was playing these Silvergill Adepts. And, yeah, they were drawing me cards, but they're not beefy. And you know what? This was the real kicker that really pushed it over the edge for me. And by the way, this is still experimentation. If I mean, unless I proposed this as my decklist and sideboard guide for Grand Prix Minneapolis. Maybe you would have known in advance. Patrons would know. But the humans, I like to compare sometimes Merfolk to humans. What is humans doing that Merfolk isn't? They got a lot of mana sources. They're playing with like 27 mana sources. We're not. We're only playing with 24.
They have deputy detention.
They have deputy detention, but that's okay. We've got our harbingers, we've got our tricksters, so we've got our own interaction. But they don't have any card advantage spell. They don't care. They used to play with Bugler, and then they dumped it because Modern's just not about card advantage. It's about power and interaction. And that made me think, like, maybe we don't need Silvergill Adept. Maybe we should try playing without the Silvergill Adept. Maybe we should just play with more power and interaction. Like, most of the games I win, it's because I, like, slam Collector Oof, slam Chalice on one, slam Grafdigger's Cage, or just play Lords into victory. It's not as much about, like, just grinding out into the long game. So anyway, that's my take on Silvergill Adept. Now, one 5-0 list that was recently created was by Fnatic, and he played only 2 Mutavaults, opting for more green sources and fetch land. He was playing with fetch lands. I'm going to play with Cavern of Souls. Give me at least a little bit more game against those control decks. Which I don't see very often, but I expect that when I play in a GP and I make day 2, that one of the decks that should rise to the top are Blue-Eye Control, because it has a favorable Hogak matchup. So I'm going to try out two Mutavaults. I was testing a bunch of mulligan hands, and it looked like adding the extra Cavern of Souls was not valuable, but I don't know how that will play out in the rest of the game. Maybe as a game goes long, having more color sources is better than having more Mutavaults, because it allows me to empty my hand. Like, we're a very color-intensive deck right now, especially without Silvergill Adapt, and I'm putting, like, Spreading Seas in the sideboard, so the colorless mana matters a lot less. So anyway, yeah, I'm gonna try running 2 Mutavaults, 4 Caverns in this league. So I've played a list like this for 2 leagues now, and I went 4-1 in both of them, and it feels powerful, and that's why I want to experiment with more. But I'm still a little skeptical. My leagues were played in the evening when players are more tired, and I'm much more likely to play against weaker opponents. Usually I try to play test in the morning when the players are the strongest, so I get the best idea of, like, how strong the deck is. Another thing is that I play against a lot of non-tier 2 decks, but still against some tier 2 decks, including things like Tron, which I still obliterate, which Silvergill Adept was never good against anyway in the first place. So I'm like 8-2 with this sort of version of the list. I don't know what's best here. Should it be 4 Harbingers, 2 Mirror Regeries? Should it be like some Tidebinder Mages? Should I shave 1 Harbinger, 1 Water Trap Weaver for 2 Mirror Regeries? I'm not sure. Those are decisions still to be up in the air. 2 more Spreading Seas in the sideboard. I split the Spreading Seas because there's just a lot of matchups where you just don't want Spreading Seas anymore. Like, you don't want it on the draw versus burn. You don't want it against Mono Red Phoenix. It's actually harder to use now more than ever against Jund, because they can just play turn 1 fetch land and ignore you. And they want to play fetch lands because of Wrenn and 6, and even if you Spreading Seas them, it's harder to mana screw them because of Wrenn and 6. It's not very good against Blue-Eye Control. It's good against Tron. It's fine against Eldrazi Tron, but Spreading Seas has turned somewhat a little bit more mediocre than it has in the past. Sideboard, I don't know if I need this Deprive, but I just have it just as an extra counterspell against Blue-Eye Control, Titan Shift, or something like that. But I now want to load up on 4 copies of all these, and I really want 4 copies of all of them. Reason being that Collector Oof, with the exception of maybe Eldrazi Tron, whenever I play Collector Oof, I basically win the game. I slam Collector Oof against Tron, and their deck just gets crippled really badly. They can't crack the Mana Rocks. They can't use Expedition Map. They can't use Oblivion Stone. They can't use Walking Ballista, which is like their main card. Same thing against Word decks. Buys me a lot of time. They do have removal for Collector Oof, but if they don't have it, they lose. And if they do have it, it might at least buy me some time until they can get the rest of their game going. Grafdigger's Cage, not necessarily an I win card, but still a card you want against Neoform. and at least it will either beat Hogak on the spot, or it will distract Hogak. They have to spend a turn playing Shenanigans or, more importantly, Assassin's Trophy. So they have to take a turn off to destroy this, and I think that is perfectly worth it. And if they use Assassin's Trophy, they actually give you some mana, help ramp you up to race them, which is good. And Chalice of the Void. Chalice on 1 is good against many decks, and I've actually come to the conclusion that I want to side in at least 2, maybe more, against Blue-White Control. Being able to shut off Opt, Serum Visions, most importantly, Path to Exile. Shutting off Path to Exile will make creature combat a lot more comfortable and easy. I don't have to worry about Snapcaster Path anymore. It's not out of the question even to cast a Chalice on 3, given that the games can go the distance, and if you play it on 3, then they can't play Narset, they can't play Teferi Time Raveler, they can't play Timely Reinforcements. And putting it on... 3 actually might hurt us a little bit because of Force Negation. So situationally, you can put Chalice on different numbers. We're playing with a lot of Cavernous Souls, so we could even put it on 2. Why not? Why not put it on 2? 2 more Spreading Seasons, basically to side in when we're taking out Force Negation against the appropriate matchups. A lot of 1-drops for Benthic Biomancer, for Commander Speaker. Alright, so that is the deck tech. Let's hope that the run of Silver Gill-less Merfolk continues. Let's get into our league. We lost the die roll, but we've got a hand. That hand I'm willing to throw away. Botanical Sanctum. The Botanical Sanctum Mirror. But usually it means it's Neoform. I must say, I have confused a lot of people playing turn 1 Botanical Sanctum. I get like my opponents playing Meddling Mage naming Grizzlebrand. I get Pithing Needles naming like Goblin Engineer. Is this the mirror?
No.
Oh, no, it's... Okay, it's Neoform. Which is good. This is a good matchup. We're going to lose game 1 a decent chunk of the time unless we've got Force Negation in hand, but games 2 and 3, it's like impossible for them to win. Just impossible. With like 4 Chalice of the Voids naming 0 for their Summoner's Pact, 4 Force Negations, like 4 Grafdigger's Cage. They can't beat all of those cards. Too many cards. I don't know if I've ever lost to this deck. So let's see if this is going to be the first time.
This is so stupid.
It's out there. Oh yeah. It's completely ridiculous. This is what Modern has turned into. I really think it's unethical for Wizards of the Coast to not snap ban these decks. I guess they just think it's okay now, like, you know what, like, this is what Vintage is about. If you want to play Vintage, play Neoform.
And I'm sure this is just such a tiny part of the metagame. Like,
well,
this guy and maybe 2 other people are playing this.
It is, because it's such a weird deck to buy into. Like, this is the thing, when you talk about decks like Lantern Control, and especially decks like KCI, it's hard for people to buy into these decks. Like, how many decks are playing freaking Nourishing Shoal and all these other cards at the same time? Like, this card is played, but in a different deck. This card is played, but in a different deck. There's just a bunch of weird pieces that, you know, if they ban one piece, then all the pieces don't go together anymore. So the point is that, like, if people start buying into this thing, then what are they going to do when they ban it? And certainly the value of a lot of these cards will, like, drop significantly after this.
Yeah.
Like, Allosaurus Rider will just be dumped for sure. So if you don't know how this deck wins, you're about to see it. So essentially, they Neoform. They get to play Allosaurus Rider in play. You may exile 2 green cards from your hand rather than paying the spell's mana cost. Its power and toughness is equal to basically the number of lands, 1 plus the number of lands you control. But the point is, you can play Allosaurus Rider for free. You play Neoform or Eldritch Evolution to sacrifice it, and then you find something with converted mana cost that plus some. There's another Eldritch Evolution. Were you going to put 2 Grizzlebrands in play? Or Laboratory Maniac?
If you don't
Laboratory Maniac. Okay. So they get Grizzlebrand and just keep drawing cards with until they basically draw their deck. And they can either Laboratory Maniac the win. If you were to draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game instead. Or they can play Lightning Storm and then throw all their lands at your face. How did they gain more life? Nourishing Shoal. You may exile a green card with converted mana cost X from your hand rather than pay the spell's mana cost. You gain X life.
And it doesn't get exiled after it's used?
No. Well, it doesn't matter. They don't care. They just draw their deck. Okay, so we're going to bring in all the Grafdigger's Cages.
Wow, what a dick. He says you too right after he wins.
Oh, whatever. Whatever, I don't care. We'll take out the Wire Trap Weaver because it's just expensive. Take out Spreading Seas because it doesn't matter in this matchup. Probably take out Harbinger of the Tides. It probably also doesn't matter. Yeah, bring in the Deprive. It's a counterspell. The 1-drop creatures are good. Thanks to the London Mulligan, I do not expect to lose at all.
Just mulligan to what you
Whoops! I need to get rid of one more card. No. Get rid of a Biomancer. Keep all the other things. Maybe Merfolk Trickster is good. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I would love to play first.
Good stuff.
I wish I had 2 pieces of interaction, but we'll just keep this. So the problem is, if they have... they do bring in Pact of Negation as interaction. So like here's the deal. We'll probably win with Force of Negation, but if we have 2 pieces of interaction, they'll lose. They just can't beat 2. 2 is too much. And they can be patient. You know, this game can be patient for a little while. We have a bit of a clock going on, so... What's this? Manamorphose? Wild Cantor, okay. Yes. Alright, 2 cards in hand. Let's hope one of them is not a Force of Negation. If it's Force of Negation, we lose. No.
So stupid.
Yeah, this is... Welcome to Modern!
Unbelievable.
They understand. That's just how the game is played. Run it back, I guess. Yeah, run it back. But the scary thing is, things like Chalice of the Void and Grafdigger's Cage will not work on turn 1 because they can turn 1 us. Like, they had the turn 1 kill, but we were on the play.
4 Neoforms, 4 out. No, 4 Neoforms, 4 ways of getting the Allosaurus Rex, I guess. Or how many ways do they have of getting that thing out?
Allosaurus Rider?
Yeah, the casting cost, the alternative casting cost.
Well, they just need 2 green cards in their hand.
Right.
But they have 4 Summoners Pack to find the Rider, and then 4 Riders themselves. Renting decks is becoming more and more popular online right now, which is getting more people to, like, I don't know how to put it. It doesn't commit anybody to any particular deck. People can now, like, switch decks up very, very often. Try this, try that.
And when you rent the card, you just copy it, and now you got your own copy. Well, they did with PlayStation games back in the day.
It doesn't work nearly as well in the Magic the Gathering Online. I can't tell. I think our opponent is double queuing.
Oh, he's probably triple queuing with a deck like this.
Do you know what? This is probably the best double queuing deck. Like, you either just win or lose.
Like, go to a blackjack table. Just go there if you want this kind of thrill.
The house always wins there. I don't know if the house always wins here.
MTGO should take a rake. Like 2%.
Well, they take something for every time that we enter a league. So yeah, Neoform... I don't know how dangerous it is on paper yet. It's not popular enough. I have a feeling once it makes a top 8, then the popularity will just skyrocket through the roof. It's like, oh my god, it is good. It is good. Let's buy it. We've got to buy them stupid Allosaurus Riders. Get on it. Someone buy out all the Grizzle brands, the promo Grizzle brands.
I'm on it.
Yeah. So
How much does a Grizzly Grab cost?
not that much. It used to be very expensive, but then one day they made it the GP promo. So for a year, everyone was getting full Grizzle brands. I have millions of these stupid Grizzle brands. Please, someone make top 8 with this Allosaurus Rider thing. Let me dump the Grizzle brands. I'm waiting.
Inflate the economy.
Well, the economy is inflated.
This person's being a dick.
Maybe they're just, maybe they're giving up. Maybe they're like, you know what? I have no chance against a Force Negation deck. This is going to run you out of time. How much time do they have left? They must have 2 minutes left.
Oh yeah, it's only 5 minutes now. Wise move. Wise move.
I'm not able. Oh.
To play?
Why not? Our opponent is having technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's called playing Neoform. Are you high?
I can read the chat. They're like, wait, can you see this? Because I'm not able to do anything. Maybe you should quickly close.
I'm on the sideboard page. That's
And
weird.
our opponent has some super technical difficulties. They said that they're on the sideboard page. I'm in the gameplay area. Well, it looks like our opponent is going to file for reimbursement. File for reimburse.
Maybe they programmed it into the client. If you play this deck, this is how you get punished.
Well, pending your like hardware, sometimes Magic the Gathering Online will be screwy.
Yeah, if you
When my computer's like overheating, it's like everything starts to get like weirdly laggy.
if you play this on Atari, it's really weird.
Oh yeah. Your opponent has disconnected. They have to get back fast though. They only have 5 minutes. And I think they've already used up like 4 minutes.
Perhaps talking in the chat counts as
Okay, they joined the game. What do they see now? Like, if there's anything stupid, I try to close Magic the Gathering Online and come back very quickly. Okay, they chose to play first. It worked! This is not solid. They mulligan, though.
Chally on 0.
Chally on 0. Not good enough. I think I'm gonna... It's got a bit of a clock, though. I think it's risky.
Mulligan down to Force Negation.
Because this only interacts with Summoner's Pack. I think I'm gonna mulligan.
FON. 2 of them.
Oh, okay, that's it. It's over. The game is over. I'm not even gonna play anything except the Grafdigger's Kit. I'm just gonna beat them down with the Mutavault. Keep. The game is I have to throw something away. I guess the Mutavault.
I'm gonna beat him with the Mutavault.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat him with the Mutavault. I take it back. I'm gonna keep the Mutavault. Yeah. No, I need 2 blue cards. They cannot beat this hand. I don't know. I'm going to give them a lot of turns, but I don't think it's possible. Like, I don't think there's any combination of cards that they could... Oh, God. Just got worse for them. Very sorry. Well, do you know what? They could beat me down with Allosaurus Rider. That can happen. It sort of has happened to me before. They, like, just play Allosaurus Rider and just try to beat me down with that. I'll play another cage. Should I? Should I start getting in there with that Biomancer?
Get in there.
I don't know, I feel like getting in there. Cage might be the appropriate move, though. Dig. Dig for an answer to Cage.
Dig your own grave.
Manamorphose. I think we can deal with the The Allosaurus Rider beatdown. Okay, I'll play another cage. Might encourage the Allosaurus Rider beatdown plan. The problem is they can't play Summoner's Pack, because then they'll just likely lose.
No.
They're like, screw it. 2 cages, that's too much. Too much. And that's the manabase.com. Get dunked on instant replay. Well, like, the force negations were too much. So anyway, we win that one.
Easy.
I must say, this Allosaurus Rider deck is probably really good for grinding ticks because, like, the games are just so quick. You win, you lose, you win, you lose. Okay, move on. Move on. They can probably get through, like, 2 to 3 leagues in, like, an hour. So that's going to be your match for today. Boom! We beat Neoform, one of the more disgusting decks on the block in Modern. Not the Boogeyman yet, because not enough people actually want to play it. But if you want to, like, it'll beat Hogak. What the hell is Hogak going to do against this damn thing? You can play all the Stitcher suppliers you want. Get your turn 2 Hogak out because they've already beaten you already by turn 1 with Neoform. So that's going to be it for today. We're going to thank all my patrons supporting me on Patreon. We're also going to thank our sponsors, themanabase.com and the Magic Mastermind. This has been Nikachu with his brother playing with Simic Merfolk in Modern.